That year we had over 120 members, which is pretty good going for a society anyway. The kind of things we did.
Welcome. Would you like to introduce your name, course, and year?
Okay, so I'm Emily Elms. I've studied business studies and I've just finished my 4-year degree.
Would you like to mention your hometown?
Yeah, so I actually live in the Isle of Purbeck, so it's about half an hour away from Bournemouth University.
Okay, so could you remind us of the course you took at university?
Pardon, sorry?
Could you remind us of the course you took at university?
Yeah, so I took business studies, but I took pathways, including economics and finance.
And why did you choose your course?
I chose it because there was the decision to choose pathways, so you weren't just stuck with just one solid subject. So throughout the period of the years, you could decide what you enjoyed and what you were natural at, and where you wanted to progress in terms of your actual career after university. I also chose it because you do get a year in industry as well, which is really valuable and a great growing experience in terms of yourself and learning about how to work in specific situations and the business world.
Okay, and obviously you said you finished now. What have you thought of your course?
What have I thought? I thought, it was actually really, really useful. I mean, I would recommend it to anyone just because I've seen how I've grown as a person. I've seen what I've learnt. And one of the things I've noticed about Bournemouth University business studies students in comparison to other university students is the fact that we're very ready to present. We've really gained presentation skills, and that's because it's quite a big thing within the degree itself. They've really focused on making us good at presenting, so that's been really useful. So they really tried to actually help us develop from sixth form to being a professional.
Okay, so did you come from a college or sixth form background?
I came from sixth form.
And what subjects did you study in sixth form?
So I did business, geography and psychology.
And did any of those subjects help you with your course?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with business, definitely useful. Some things came up which I'd already previously learnt, so that's quite handy. But also, what you already knew, you're able to really expand on it. And so, yeah, business, having it at A level was really useful.
And what do you think the best subjects / A levels are for your course?
Definitely recommend business, obviously. Economics is useful, and geography because you've got the human side of geography as well.
Okay, so could you remind us of the university that you study at?
So Bournemouth University.
So if we can go in the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University, starting off with the worst.
Let's start off with the worst things about Bournemouth University. Probably in terms of connections, there's no real direct motorway. I mean, obviously you've got the
Like studying at the
bypasses.
university, the actual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually studying, the worst thing. I mean, there's not necessarily anything that I think was awful, just because the program leader really wanted to make a good degree. So there wasn't anything I necessarily look at and feel, oh, that was awful.
It was a good the whole degree we went through, the whole of the university. So what are the good things about studying at Bournemouth University?
So good things about the university and studying it as a whole is the fact that the university is always wanting to be better. They're always wanting to improve. They're now, one of the top 100 universities, one of the top new universities in the world. So they really are looking to be better. And so, yeah, that's something that's really useful because you're able to kind of be part of that journey and see the improvements and also benefit from it too.
So if we go into obviously your university journey and where you lived, where did you live in your first year?
So I actually lived at home. I stayed at home. It was just on the doorstep, so it made sense, really.
The whole journey? The whole experience, you just stayed at home?
I stayed at home. Apart from a year in industry, I moved up to Reading.
Okay, and with staying at home, do you think what are the benefits and downsides, starting off with the downsides of obviously living at home?
Downsides is obviously you're not involved in the nightlife as much as maybe your friends are. Benefits is the fact that it's more time to study, more time to really focus on your actual course. So benefits really is the fact that you don't have to pay rent, and you've not got quite as many distractions.
Okay. So if we go into the Bournemouth accommodation, what do you think the
Hmm.
best Bournemouth accommodation is for price?
For price, I'm trying to think of where my friends were. Oh,
If
I
we say
couldn't.
the best in all, then it's just from what the universities you saw. What's the best accommodation you saw?
I can't actually remember the names, if I'm completely honest. I would just say they've got a new one which allows any year to stay at,
Okay.
and yeah, that seems to be, as it's modern, it's new. It just, yeah, it
Yeah, that's
came across
fine.
really nice. Yes.
So if we go obviously into the Bournemouth area,
Hmm.
you started to mention about the motorway. So could you tell us some good and bad things about living in the Bournemouth area?
So obviously the good thing which attracts a lot of people is the beaches. Yeah, there a lot of students, enjoy that. But there's also the nightlife. So if that's the kind of lifestyle you're after, you've
About the
got that.
nightlife?
Pardon?
Could you tell us about the nightlife?
So the nightlife is, well, weekends you'll find a lot of stag and hen do's. It seems to be a popular location for that. But there's plenty of clubs, bars, restaurants, and so
What's the
yeah,
club for you?
the club. Uh, I mean, at the time, being a fresher, it would have been Cameo, just because there was 4 different rooms, so you weren't just stuck to kind of one genre of music at a time.
And in the Bournemouth area, are there a lot of shops kind of do like, shopping, or is it more just like a
Mm.
local shops?
So within Bournemouth, you've got the main high street. It's got pretty much everything you really need, to be honest. And they've also, within recent years, have created BH2, but that's more of a restaurant and cinema complex. It's also got crazy golf, and so yeah, within central Bournemouth itself, there's a lot going on, a lot you can do.
Okay. And what about the restaurants and food shops? Is it kind of again your basics, your McDonald's, Nando's, or is there a good like variety of shops?
So there's really good variety. You've got, from Miller and Carter to Seven Bone. Highly recommend if you've never come across that to go there. And so yeah, you have got your McDonald's, but you've also got the more
Your
upmarket, kind of nicer.
so have you got anything else to say about the Bournemouth area, or have we kind of just covered what it's like to live in Bournemouth?
I mean, because I live kind of more on the outskirts, Bournemouth itself, it's very, very busy, but the further you drive out, the quieter it is, the more of the countryside you have. And so it's nice because you can, if you want to, if you've got a car, you can have the best of both worlds, really.
Okay. So if we
Mhm.
go into societies at Bournemouth, did you join any societies at Bournemouth University?
Yeah, so I was actually president of the Business Society. It had been inactive for a few years before that, so we really got it up and running again, and it's still going today. So it's
Just it?
really, really rewarding to see. Yeah.
What kind of things would you do in the business society?
So our main thing to begin with was just raising the awareness, and so within that year we had over 120 members, which is pretty good going for a society anyway. The kind of things we did, I got a BBC Apprentice candidate for that year to come down and host a talk. We also did a tour around Purbeck Ice Cream Factory. We then obviously got free ice cream, but we also spoke to the founders and heard about their story, and were able to ask them questions. And additionally, we launched a Facebook alumni live. So we had graduates being able to talk to people live without having to make students go into university and sit in a lecture theatre.
Okay. So could you tell us about Bournemouth Freshers?
Bournemouth Freshers, gosh, there's a lot going on, lots of events. We're really lucky whereby we have the old fire station, which is like the student union owned club. So a lot's going on there. If you're looking for free drinks, great place to go. But yeah, there's just so many clubs and so many places that you can go. Freshers, it's a busy one.
Could you tell us about your experience when it came to the Freshers?
My experience, so living at home, obviously I didn't know necessarily that many people at the Freshers, but quite quickly you do get to know people and you form friends through that. So it's yeah, freshers is a really good way to enjoy yourself, but also to form friendships which could, you know, last many years.
And what general advice would you give to any first year students about to start university?
Obviously you want to enjoy the social aspect, but also really do focus on your studies, because it's really important. That's what you're mainly there for anyway. Also, you know, make use of the discounts, because it's the cheapest time of your life with all the student discounts, so make the most of it. So yeah, but also do go the extra mile in terms of societies and education, because it will reward you long term.
And what advice would you give to first years about to start at Bournemouth University?
To start at Bournemouth University, definitely focus straight away, because you do get your tests and assignments very early on. So definitely, you know, focus early on and you'll do well.
And lastly, what advice would you give students about to study your course?
Yeah, again,
Study.
get ready for the assignments and the tests very early on. I think within a month we had a few tests. So yeah,
Okay.
it's a busy one, but if you remain focused, you'll be fine.
So could you tell us about your placement year?
Yeah, so I did a placement at Nutanix. They do hyperconverged infrastructure. So it's very techie company. They've been around for 10 years, but they are a unicorn. So they are worth over 1 billion, and they are a very fast growing company. So it was really interesting during the time I was there, we moved offices. So it was really interesting to see the company evolve that fast. But because of that, there were a lot of work perks. You know, a lot of people enjoyed playing with their Xbox. You know, you got free lunch. So working for a tech company that's growing fast, you know, there are those side benefits for students.
And do you suggest taking a placement year?
Oh, 100%. I would definitely recommend to always go for a course which does have a year in industry.
And do you think having a work placement has helped you now that you've finished university?
Massively, because during the graduate interview processes, you're able to use it as an example, but you're also able to use the experience of looking for a placement job in finding a graduate job.
Okay. So you chose to go to university over an apprenticeship / going right into work. What path did you to make this choice?
I mean, I just wanted to set myself the challenge of getting a degree. It kind of really appealed to me to kind of step it up a gear in terms of my education and keep going.
So now that you've finished university, what is life like after university?
Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so it's slightly different to what I was hoping my summer would be. But all of a sudden you have this free time, and it can be quite a shock, because you've been so busy, you know, doing all your assignments and you preparing for exams. So I would just say life after university, the summer, just focus on not being overwhelmed by not having, you know, much going on. So I mean, what I've done is I do a lot of reading, I go out on a lot of exercise. So life after uni, especially for the summer, just focus on keeping yourself busy and finding stuff that you really enjoy that you haven't been able to do whilst you've been studying.
Okay, so at this point, we let students kind of have like a free for all, I like to call it, where you can say what you want about what you want. You can give advice. You could put your ads. You could literally say what you want. As I said, literally advice. I can't even. I said advice twice. Literally anything you want to say, you can say. So the floor is yours.
Okay, so my number one piece of advice would be to go for a degree which has a year in industry. It is so valuable. You learn about yourself, you learn about what industries you want to work in, you learn, you know, you expand on your soft skills, and you meet great people during your year in industry as well. So I highly recommend it. My other piece of advice would be do go the extra mile in terms of your work, because long term it really will reward you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.